evening edition, late night edition, and I got a pretty special guest, kind of a regular. You've been on, you may or may not have been on more than Joey Ryan has over the last uh 2 months. Joey's gonna love that. But we're joined with my main man, Oscar Dominguez. Oscar, before we jump in, everyone hit the like, hit the share, send it around. We're gonna talk Brendan Crockett BEF event, 10,000 added, a lot of good stuff to go and jump on. But Oscar, how are you, man?
I'm doing good, man. Just moving. Got into a new house, so it's absolutely crazy recently.
No joke. So whenever we're in Vegas doing the BEF event over there, I'm like, oh, what are y'all guys doing after this? Going home and chilling. They're like, oh no, we got to move like right afterwards, like literally the next day whenever we get home.
Literally the next day.
I don't know how you did it because
So
I was wore out big time after those long hours, and then you guys go from jumping into Vegas for that kind of stretch for those amount of hours having to be there, and then going and moving like one thing by itself in like a quarter is difficult enough. But then you throw on
mhm.
back to back. I'm jumping off the bridge, homie. I don't know about you.
and trust me, I thought about it. It's been brutal, but you know what? The kids, the house is nice for them. A little bit more space, and the thing.
The things we do as fathers, right? Whatever it takes to go and make them happy, whether it's the kids, the wife, or otherwise. So we do whatever we got to do. But yeah. In the meantime, man, you got a little. You happen to have a business. Oh, by the way, and in that business, you got some pretty exciting stuff coming up. At least one of those businesses, anyway. In the let's jump right into it, man. The Brendan Crockett coming up July 30th, 31st. I heard, or at least I saw online, unlimited amount of players. Whoever shows up
Absolutely.
can go and jump in. Explain that to me.
I got 33 tables, um, and I have so we're in it for the long haul. I mean, we'll party if we have to, man. This is this tournament is so near and dear to my heart, and every time I do the players stuff, I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry. I can't hold it. It's too emotional because it was my sparring partner, and we gambled a lot. $200 sets, 100. You know, when it was weird because like he had disappeared for a while, then he got off really well, and he was only back for like 6 months, 8 months back to play, and we got real close, and yeah, so his death really was really tough on their community, at least in the LA area.
Do you think
So
like it helps you stay like motivated to make sure that the event like really turns into something special? Because it's, I mean, you hear about like
yeah,
these memorial events like all over the country all the time, but like this is different for you.
you know what? It's annoys me when I go to some memorial events. I'm not going to name any specific ones, but I go to, and there's not a single mention of the person that we're going for the memorial for tournament, and it rubs me the wrong way. You know what I mean? Like a nice way to remember the person or respect to the person. I'm actually doing a couple this weekend. I have a Jerry Johnson, but it's not a memorial, so alive and well. But I like to honor like the old school time, their lifelong achievements. Um, I have the little Al, Ernesto's New Year's Open next year. I haven't told my dad, but I'm going to do that. Um, and Brendan's event's real special to us because he was such a good friend of ours and one of the nicest, um, unbelievable talent. To this day, I firmly believe in Must Away or anything, he'd be one of the top contenders for Mosconi Cup. Not even close. That's
How old was he, man?
22.
Ah, that's so young.
Yeah. So his brother was with him in the car accident, and they think he fell asleep at the wheel, and then man, the keys were lost in the fire. So Tyler Steyer actually was really close with him too. He used to play with an SC34, the Jacoby limited edition Predator. Because there was only 100 made, we had to ask Corinne for permission to make another one. and they of Brendan Crockett. It was pretty amazing. Uh, Huge shout out to Tyler for making it. And his dad was supposed to show up to the event. We were going to gift it to him. And there, so we did it via Zoom during the players' meeting. If there was not a single dry eye in the place, it was pretty crazy. And
This was last year, right? If I
yeah,
remember right.
mm-hmm. So I have the queue coming in this year. He confirmed he's booked his flight and everything. Last year he was with COVID and all that. It was a little touchy situation.
Of course, yeah.
But now it's coming out, so yeah, really looking forward to hand him Brendan's queue and be.
It gave me goosebumps, man. You know,
Yeah,
sometimes people just come into our lives and get taken away too soon, or I mean, I don't know if there's ever a right time to go and lose someone, right? Especially someone who's close to you and near and dear. But the main thing is keeping their spirits alive and remembering them and honoring them and um, making sure that they're always around, you know,
right,
and
right.
and just making sure that that love hasn't gone anywhere, no matter what. And I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it.
Yeah, for sure. So, so yeah, it's pretty cool because all our friends from like the whole Simi Valley, the thousand of come on out. And, we all play the tournament. We all share a couple stories. It's always a good time.
Hey Oscar, do me one quick favor. See if you can get off Wi-Fi. Maybe try your service, and then jump out and jump back in, and we'll give it another swing because we were having a little bit of some audio issues coming into it, and not audio issues per se, but more of just the lagging. But Oscar's gonna dip out, and then he'll come right back, and I'll send him to the back here in the meantime. But yeah, man, it was kind of it was one of these deals whenever I heard about this event, and I remember seeing it last year, and I want to say Tyler got to the finals if I remember correctly, um,
Mm, it
or
was
he went deep
John.
anyway, didn't he?
Yeah, he went deep. Uh, it was John Moore and James Aranis.
That's who it was. It was John. Yeah, because John was kind of that guy, that dark horse who kind of came out of nowhere and was like stomping out everyone. And you guys have always had really stellar fields out at this event. Every time that I've seen it.
I mean, it's unbelievable. Last year we had Shane, we had uh, Billy came down. Um, I mean, you had the Filipino contingents. It's just it's madness, really. And uh, I know how hard it is as a pro player to go to these events. I tell everybody, hey man, I know it's tough for you guys to come out here. I appreciate you guys coming out here. If I can add 100, but I mean, 10's pushing it as it is. So it's just Schmidt was there. Beato, that's who I beat last year in the tournament.
You beat
It's
Carlo.
Yeah, I beat Carlo too.
We need to
I
see the
three fouled him
video.
on that. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I
Oh, that's the three
play
foul
some.
story. I remember that. I remember the three foul story. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah,
whenever like he's jumping over the ball to make the hit, right?
yeah. I still play a little bit. I can play.
I I remember you telling me that story. I think it was out in Vegas, man, and it was pretty sick. And we'll dive into it at another time. But if you see Oscar, make sure and ask him about the three foul story because it is pretty gnarly. And I'm one of these guys where like I've been around a lot of pool players. I mean, Oscar's been around tons more, but like when they go and tell me these stories, I take it with a grain of salt. But I tell you, this one got me pretty engaged, man, pretty quickly. Um, and big news. So you got a lot of support along with it, and I know you got a lot of sponsors with it. So let's show them some love, man. Who's all getting behind you this year,
Uh,
putting this event on?
Huge shout out to Predator Q's, Q Tech Q, for the junior event, but it kind of bridges over. And then I had at the 526 Club, good friend of mine from the Fresno area. Uh, um,
Tom?
Brent, yeah, Tom Gorman, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, we've
he's
interacted online a
awesome.
few times.
Good friend of mine. I have Brenna, Dominic, Phil Prentice Custom Cues. I have Roberto Franco, our boy Roberto. Well, Um,
he was just messaging me. He watches all the time, and he's a big Oscar Dominguez fan. That's for sure. Um,
yeah, he's my boy. He's with with keys to my business.
it's funny because we
He
were
really
talking
is.
earlier today, and we were saying about going to Vegas in December, and I said, "Man, you got to go, man. It's me, Mosconi Cup. Oscar's gonna make it, so you got to be out there." So he's like, "Well, see if you can get me some tickets," and I said, "Well, I'll see what I can do." So,
Oh yeah,
um,
you guys got tickets for me if I make it.
speaking of,
So
what are your? We're about halfway through the year, Oscar. What's your goal as far as continuing to go and play professionally? I know you got a lot of shit going on. You're moving. You got the business. You got the kids. It's a grind. You've kind of
yeah,
already been through the ringer quite a bit.
them adding events is kind of and with the the the, the expenses going through, um, and then the whole you got Sandcastle. So I got to fly back home. Then I got to go to Atlantic City, fly back home. Then I got to go to the U.S. And a lot of people say, "Why don't you just stay out there?" I'm so busy at my business, but I'm pulled in a million different directions. I sure have 4 managers. Yes, that's you still have to be in the business. You still have to be involved. And ranked, and I'm probably in the negative. I am in the negative. Now, if I was number 4, number 5, number 7, I'd be really in the negative. Derby. So I missed the first event.
Right.
So I got third at the Super Billiards Expo. What 17 to 24th, the UK Open or whatever. Um, I mean, where else did I go? The World Nine Ball Championships.
All over,
Um,
man. You've been everywhere.
yeah, I've been ever. I mean, obviously I stay at the nice hotels because I'm bringing the wife. Eat at the nice restaurants. But I'm in the negative, bro. It's like I'm still
Yeah, but
trying.
but you knew that going into it, though. You know.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't think it was gonna be travels just going through the roof.
It is. Yeah. Yeah. So
So I don't know. It's I want to do it. I want to keep going. I want European Open. Uh, I'm kind of 50-50. I'm going to be honest with you. 100, and you know, I know I'm not doing it to make money, but at the same time, I can't just donkey off, tens and twenties. I mean,
yeah.
business.
No, for sure.
Yeah, but
I tell you what, though,
I don't know. I might.
you got a lot of people rooting for you, and you made a hell of a run so far. It's you see some of these numbers when it comes to like rankings when it comes to matchroom events, and it's tough, and that's putting it mildly. Because it wasn't anything that you'd want to go and really talk about, especially given the amount of money that you're going and spending on the back end to go and get there and live out there and be out there for a week or whatever it may be and traveling across the world. And then I get adding on the events. I've been hearing a lot of complaining, for lack of a better word, because how can they just go and add one last minute, and how does this one get sanctioned? And it seems to be kind of just it seemed like a lot of contradiction there, because we're going to go and cap it at this one, we're going to stop it at this event, no other event's going to be at the rest of the season. But then basically the Europeans are getting more of a shot to go and compete with one another. But meanwhile, there's not any events going on here in the States. And I remember asking specifically when it came to like the Texas Open about getting that sanctioned. It's a big table 9-ball event. Nothing. So
It's such a strong event, and I mean, meanwhile, this tournament in Spain, where they take out money out the entry fees if you do the Euros, they take money away from the players. It's a ranking event. I don't know.
yeah,
I'm kind of. I think we're going as a billiard. I mean, Matchroom's great. Matchroom's done a lot of great things. I get along with them. Obviously, I've been following the events. I think they're overexerting themselves a little bit by sanctioning the Spanish Open, and that's just, I don't know.
I think there'll be more things will kind of iron itself out as time goes on, right? But this first year, it's kind of just they're kind of just filling themselves out a little bit and seeing what's going to go and work. And obviously, getting into different markets, it's huge. So, like the announcement of the European Open, getting into Germany makes sense. Getting into Spain with the successes of David and Fran and all their wins and getting into that market. I understand the announcement of this Asian event, making that a
Mm-hmm.
ranking event. It's like you name it, but it's global, and I think that's the goal. Um, but it is kind of a rough time, especially when it comes to
Brutal.
traveling.
Shouldn't be the person who can afford the most events being able to go, or who has the most sponsorships to go. There's that could represent the U.S. that don't have the financial backing to go to or go to the U.S. Open. And when you have too many events, the sacrifice is too big. Whereas if you have six, you can do the Turning Stone, you can do, or say the U.S. Open, World Championships, the European Open, and maybe a handful of others, like Texas Open. Leave it alone. If you can't come at the top of those events, well then, better luck next
Well,
year.
I think there ought to be more of a balance, let's say, where like you can still have your majors, right? You can still have like your UK Open, you can still go and have, maybe a something that's going to go and pay like let's say 50 to 60 plus on the top if not more, right? But like a US Open I'd consider a major. Way back
Right.
when a China Open I would consider a major, you know. But then you as an American who's trying to go and make a Mosconi Cup, it's tough to go and say you got to go and travel here, here, and here, and the guy who can go and get there more has a better shot of being higher up on a ranking. When if there was more opportunity, maybe regionally, to kind of make 5 grand here, 10,000 here, whatever, it would make much more sense, and then it could go and bankroll these trips abroad. You
Totally.
know,
That's that's how I did it my whole life. I grind out the local tournaments, dime here and fire at the big boys. But you know,
well, let's talk about someone who once
it's
grew up and whenever you started, you were once a junior Oscar, and you actually got a junior event coming up immediately following the Brendan Crockett, and it's kind of nuts. It's another 10,000 added event, man. Let's talk about it.
oh man, this one's so it was funny. So last year, it started off as a whim, just a random idea. I called Shane Tyree. I'm like, hey, what can I do to have a junior event? Can I add some real money to one? And you know, I don't like to see it. It's kind of brutal to see that, and I see the parents sacrificing so much. And I said, well, here. And so I planned it out, and I was 5,000. And a good friend of mine said, how much are you adding? I'm like, I'm adding five. He's like, well, I'll match it himself. So
Wow,
that's how the 10,000 started out.
that's
And
pretty sure. That's a pretty good friend.
pretty good friend, right? He was a local
Yeah.
like came into my room a lot. Good friend of ours, and so it started, and it wasn't like any competition to try to compete against the junior nationals. It's just something fun that we put together, and and you said, hey, like, how'd it go? I'm like, we got our asses kicked. Kids only eat bar. There's no way we make it up. You know what I mean? It's a total loss, but we're so much fun. And I've been looking at the entries, and our entries are pretty, and we're adding the 10,000 all by yourself this year, and gotten some help from a lot of people. Now we have Q Tech Predator. They added some balls, Arcos balls, and then Dunsky and Brenna over at Clinkers, helping us raffle everything and coming out and reporting stuff. And then Phil Prentice again, all the Romero's out there helping us He sent me a PayPal and I've been getting a lot of help from a lot of friends because they all see that I'm not doing it to make money. I'm going to have it's a total loss for me, but it's so much
It's a
fun
true
seeing the
story.
kids.
So last year after Oscar gets done, and I'm saying, how did it go? And he said, man, the kids were great. And I said, okay, well, how was it like business wise? And like without even missing a beat, oh, it was a total loss. Like, yeah. And I said, okay, good. Well, you got that out of your system, so no more, and you move on. No, 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 no. We're gonna do it again. It's gonna be every year, 100%. Like, didn't even miss a beat. So when he's telling you guys this story, he's 100% legitimate because this is like in private, me and him going and messaging back and forth, and he's telling me this, and my mind was blown. But you know what? When I was out there in Vegas, and that was really my first time being around junior players, like I got it. It made sense.
You got it. Now, from a business point of view, I think get involved in the juniors from a business point of view. Now, strictly forget about any personal attachments because there's a lot of companies out there that aren't behind the juniors as much. Customers, our demographic at the pool hall is mainly, let's be realistic. Daytime crowds, all the old guys in the pool room.
Right.
Sustainable. There has to be another generation of pool players to fill that void. Not all last. We're not here forever. Um, if we're not investing in our juniors, what the hell are we doing?
Right.
We have to invest in our juniors. My pool room for my kids, I don't know if they want to run it, probably not, but I want to leave them something sustainable, and I've always been long term guy. I'm not a short term
Yeah, I was gonna
person.
that word was gonna come out of my mouth is playing a long game and thinking about the bigger picture and not just that self-serving kind of attitude. And I was talking with um, a friend earlier today, and we had this very discussion just about investing in the juniors. And I saw Q Tech was coming on, and they're actually a part of along with Golden State Billiards, a part of getting me out there and going to go and have fun for a week and talk about the event and pump it up and talk about these juniors and just how remarkable they are because there's a lot of talent and a lot of like sincere enthusiasm when it comes to the game, and seeing that can be inspiring from a number of different levels. And I get it, man. When I saw those kids and just they want to go play pool, and these poor parents are going through like the ringer when it comes to life and dealing with things like everything like everybody else, right? And then they want to go and like have their kids be able to live out their dreams. It's something uh, uh, to be motivated by to make sure you go and deliver for them because they just want to go play pool.
Right, totally. And I mean, you were there. You saw it's all donations. We didn't make any money in Vegas for a time, really. We just had help with the rooms, and that's it. Which, by the way, Shane, I have to bill you for. uh, uh, I haven't written the invoice for my hotel room. That's the thing. Like I'm not even trying to. I'm probably not even going to send them an invoice just because it's not about trying to help the BF grow. And when I talk to Shane Tyree, huge fan of what we're trying to do, um, and us coming back next year to run the event. Um, this year was I guess a little bit difficult for us. We really didn't know what to expect. Uh, Hiccups, I think, but for the most part, I thought we did all right. And do it, make it bigger, and better, and give the parents an unbelievable experience, great memories. Um, I just, if we were to do it next year, I think we'd all be better prepared and know what.
Yeah, you definitely see the fastball coming. That's for sure. I didn't know what to go and expect, and you guys were out there like physically out there in the ballroom a lot more than me, and those were some long, 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 long days, and there was a lot of trying to figure things out and trying to make things work, scheduling conflicts as the tournament went deeper, and you had some kids who were in multiple events and they're having to go and pick and choose like which one do you want to continue with because it has a ripple down effect. And we're trying to just reschedule and recoordinate and regame plan. And you don't want to disappoint anybody, but at the same time, we had hard times. We had to get the hell out of there. We had hard times that day they needed to shut down. We had hard times that last day that we had to be done and out of that room. And logistically, it was an uphill battle at times, and I didn't realize like how intense it was going to be. But when you have all these different kids playing all these different divisions, gender specific and otherwise, it's a lot, man. I mean, it was a lot of work and a lot of thankless days and thankless nights. That's for sure.
Yeah, and then and from basically we were there from 7:30 in the morning to about midnight, and we had to get out. They were real firm on the close time because of security and overtime, and there's a lot of things behind the scenes that a lot of people don't see, and you can't come in before X amount of hours. So and then yeah, so it's just a lot, But I think basically it's going to be a little bit better now that we can get our feet wet. And I'm doing two divisions, boys and girls. That's it. And we're going to do a second chance tournament like we always do. But if you notice, it's only a 2-day events.
You're not stretching it out, so they're going to be there playing pool.
They're going to be there playing pool, and I know how expensive and how much money the parents spent. I get it. 5-6 days in Vegas, paying, and it's torture. Like we went out to dinner, you and me. I spent like $1,500. I mean, again, we went to the Bellagio, we went to the steakhouse. You know, we like to
Yeah,
eat
Urban Rye,
good.
Urban Rye. I'm glad I didn't miss
But,
that one. Yeah.
uh, I knew you were going to kill me if I went there without you.
Oh, I would have regretted it. That's for sure, man. If you're ever in
Yeah,
Vegas, please go check it out. I love it, and it's all thanks to this guy up top, man.
yeah. Um, Vegas is expensive. I figure that this is going to be a fun event for the cash, for their college education or their travel expenses to the next whatever they want to do.
What's the buzz been like from kids, Oscar? What's the players list looking like? Is it getting filled up when it comes to this event?
Necessarily not as it's a little bit sluggish. It is better than last year. Last year
Okay.
we had 8 girls, 8 girls, and they all cash, and every single one cash. They
That's
made
pretty awesome,
150.
man.
Yeah, and 2,200 or something like that, because it's 5,000 per division, and the boys was I believe 37 players, too. I think so. I'm beating last year, and the girls I think I'm at like 14 or 15. So
You gotta
um,
like your chances, you know.
yeah, I mean I figure there's going to be a couple additions. There always is. Um, reached out to me about picking their kids up from the airport, so I think it's going to be. Parents are making sacrifices to send their kids here. It's such an expensive trip to fly to Cali, because of the tree and
Do you
most
think
of the
about that, like
junior.
about making it memorable, like having that kind of like responsibility?
Yeah, yeah, I do. I want
Because
kids.
you come from like a few different angles when it comes to this shit, man.
I was a junior player,
That's
and
what I'm
I
saying.
saw.
Yeah.
You know, I remember Betsy Sunho. She's still around. She's married to Derek Burgerski. Derek from Michigan, good player.
Name sounds familiar.
You know, yeah, you'll know him if you see him. Yeah, I mean, she used to run the junior stuff, and I mean Justin Bergman, Compton, Tyler Strawn, Bull running. And I mean, Silver Ochoa. We had class, and you know those Justin Hall. There's the next Moscone Cup team here. It's it's bare those players that we see, and, and if we don't support them, like we got, um, we're they're not going to keep playing. Why are they going to keep playing?
I like that, man, and you're absolutely right. When I seen some of these pictures of some, young kids out there and who end up being Moscone Cup champions, yourself included, and everyone started from playing in the BEF, and that
Mm-hmm.
was kind of the foundation of it all, and it really just it's a different level of importance. And the crazy thing is, like when I went out there, I'll be completely honest. When I went out there, I thought it'd be like a bunch of kids who probably could run three balls, and then their parents were just trying to like go and push them to go and play pool, right, and get them out of their hair while they can go hit up the casino for a few hours, which had happened every now and then. But majority of these kids can like play really really well. Yeah, that was the part that was
Very good.
crazy to me was the talent that a lot of these kids have. And even the way I'm saying it, like I'm getting fired up about my enthusiasm because I had no idea, man. I had no idea the skill set of a lot of these junior players, and it really just it motivated me. And I get it. I 1,000% I got it after seeing them play and see their happiness and see them going like the emotions of it, because you're gonna have defeats and you're gonna have successes, but just like the will to go down that path, you know,
Yeah.
it's something else.
It's funny you say that because I sponsor a couple the Golden State, so I had never really seen Sophia Mass play. I mean, I'm like pushing and promoting her so well, and then Savannah, I knew Joey Tate hadn't met him before. What am I thinking about? Adrian, obviously, I know Adrian well,
Of course.
but the other three kids I hadn't really hit a ball. Then I see him in person. I'm like, holy cow, these kids!
Yeah, man.
What the hell is going on? And and we just signed on. Actually,
Who's that?
um,
You kind of broke up there.
Skylar, Skylar
Oh,
Hess.
Skylar Hess. Okay, yeah, 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 yeah.
So I had reached out to her like day number two of them before she, and I said, "Hey, I'm looking for another female player to um, round up it."
See, that's when I'm hearing about these kids, right? Because I pick up like little things on online on social media. Like going into it, I'm thinking, okay, they're kids with a great social media presence, and they play pool. No, no, no. They're pool players who happen to have a good social media presence. Like it's mutually exclusive because that level of ability to promote yourself is way behind their ability to go and actually play great pool. And I
Right.
mean, you and it's crazy because they're young and they can be a little fearless sometimes. So maybe their shot selection can be a little head scratching, but they nail it, and they got like I'm so there's nothing like that enthusiasm of a kid going and playing pool and just seeing that. Like that was the part that really got to me the whole week, and that's why I love when hearing about this event you got going on. Everything like it's all family, man. Supporting kids,
Yeah, for
supporting
sure.
parents putting on their kids, even with the Brendan. That was close to home for you. That was someone you saw on a daily, someone who left an impact on your life, just like these kids leave impacts on our lives. And it's important to keep that humility and remember those people and appreciate the kids like while we got them.
Yeah, I mean, and we're not guaranteed tomorrow. We don't know what the hell's going on. So
Right.
it's good to back where we can and help the sport grow. And it's because the sport's bigger than anybody, and I think that's where so many people get lost. They try a single person in this sport is bigger than the sport itself. I mean, it's one person, but there's so much work, so much help behind the scenes that they get. I just, I'm in a position right now to give back a little bit, and I'm done with it.
It's respectable, and it's a very forward way of thinking because it's real easy, especially right now, to go and say, you know what, it ain't the right time. and to kind of pull in the reins a little bit. But instead, you guys are going full steam ahead, all guns a blazing, and having these great back-to-back events out at your pool room. Um, I'm excited to go out there. It's my first time going to California, and I got to tell you, I'm beyond pumped. Even though it's 11 o'clock at night, you can't see my enthusiasm, but I can tell you it's here. It's right here. Um, it's going to be a good time, and I love watching top level players play, which they can go and get at the Brendan, and watching top future champions go and play at the BEF event. I think it's going to be, and I heard you got good food out there, man. At least that's what somebody told me.
That food is fire. I
Um,
got you, bro. Just
I'm gonna tell you, like, this is the other thing. So if you ever want recommendations when it comes to food, and if talk to this guy, because he's been around a lot of places. He's been around, and not one time. And I tell you what, this is I get skeptical a lot, right? So I'm in Vegas and I'm asking them, and it's like 9 o'clock at night, 8 o'clock at night, and I'm like, yo, we're hungry, and it's me, the Salado boys, and I think Joey might have been with us, but anyway, we're all trying to find a place to eat. So um, I messaged you, and you gave me this Mexican joint, and I'm from South Texas, like the border's a few hours away from me. So like I know good Mexican food whenever I go and eat it, and Oscar tells me this place, and I'm just like, man, ain't nothing. I ain't. It ain't gonna be nothing, man. I tell you what, I'm looking forward to going back and eating at that place. I couldn't tell you what the name of it is. I'm sure you remember. But
tacos.
legitimately, every place that he's ever given me a recommendation on has been amazing. So I'm looking forward to it, man.
This belly's expensive, brother. This is ribeyes. This is
Oh,
good
I'm,
living.
I'm sure Desiree would go and co-sign that. That's for sure, man. But this is why, like, I love what you guys are doing, and I got a lot of respect for you because it's it's giving back, and it's remembering where you came from because it's easy to be just all about the numbers game. And don't get me wrong, obviously, being afloat and being successful is important, but picking those times like right now in the summertime for these kids, they're gonna remember that, and they're gonna remember this event. I don't see too many other $10,000 added events for kids going on in this country at all.
We're by far the biggest junior event in the country, and I can do it, but I think other people can do it. And to be honest with you, I realistically, it's probably more than I should add from a business point of view. Not be adding this much from a business point of view, but I feel like if I push it and I push the envelope, we can get a 10K added in Virginia or wherever. I don't see why not. And if I can get sponsorship, and I don't know why other people can't do that either. You know, and a soft spot for all of us. We all, especially dads, we all have our kids. Whenever there's a junior, we can help. We usually go the extra mile for them because for kids, business is the same thing. Like I don't know why there isn't more junior events at 3,000. It should be more commonplace. The parents spend money at the bar too. They'll help make up some of the added. Um, Obviously,
Well, you
not
know
the
how it
same
is, man. It's
like
like
a
you got to go, and it's easy to go and to be to go and be the first guy through doing things like that. We'll go and hopefully motivate other people to do the same. you
yeah. I
know,
mean, the
and
goal.
inspire others.
I don't want to be the biggest junior tournament around. I want the kids to have something bigger than me, bigger and better. I'm hoping another pool room do better, but we'll see. Time
I'm
will
sure.
tell.
I'm sure they will, but in the meantime, we'll be looking forward to the next couple of weeks and everything you got going on. And I hear you may still be looking for some one-on-one action if you know how to put your cue together. One
Yeah,
of
I
the
mean,
18 cues you got.
dude, I had a game with, and that fell through because they lost his cue sticks at the Heathrow Airport and all that stuff. Try to you know take care of his stuff. So
Well, he
that's
ended up forfeiting out of the
understandable.
world game, so I get it with Omar in that in
Yeah,
that aspect.
I didn't
Because yeah,
I didn't even push it so much, but I mean, I love the action. I want to give uh, Tommy Medina. So he's going to be itching to sting, be wanting to gamble. So
Oh, Tommy's gonna be out there. Oh, so there'll be a.
oh yeah,
Oh, that'll be great then.
he's
Oh yeah, that
coming for the roof for that.
I like it. 2,000 a game, huh?
We got about 2,000 a game before they know they'll be at 5,000 a game. And yeah,
I love it, man. Well, I'm excited, and I'm gonna be out there in a few days. I think I fly out a week from now, thanks to Q Tech
Mhm.
and Gold State Birds and you and Desiree. And I'm looking forward to seeing everyone. That was one. That was another thing about it that really struck me was um, the sincerity of people. So seeing my man from Post Up, seeing the kid, the champ, Adrian again. I'm
champ.
pumped, man. The champ. Yeah, I swear. After he wins that night, he comes in because he was my roomie. I opened the door for him, and he said, "The champ is here." So, so
Anyone
I
else I'm
swear
clapping. Adrian, God, he's such a good kid.
he is, man. He is. He's
But
kind of like a little brother. So,
yeah,
yeah, no, I'm excited, man. So, anyway, you guys stay tuned. Post Up is gonna have the stream. I'm gonna be doing a bunch of stuff from the moment I get to the airport until the moment I get to the airport again, bringing my ass back home. So, I'm gonna be super excited, and we're gonna do a bunch of stuff to really just spotlight these kids, spotlight this event. And if you guys have any questions, hit me up and or hit up Oscar. And yeah, we'll see you guys real soon, man.
absolutely.
Oscar, we
Come on to the
appreciate you,
West
buddy.
Coast, baby. Sounds good.
Sacramento.